Bro, the start is like, what the fuck, bro?
Cackle.
The World of Warcraft is nearly 15 years old, and over the years, many legends have been created. Some are true, and some are half true, and others downright ridiculous. It's a tale as old as time, going back to the days of the Loch Ness Monster, or Bigfoot, or happiness existing. You can save Eris in Final Fantasy VII, there's a nudity code for Tomb Raider, you can unlock Ermac in the first Mortal Kombat game, all because the phrase Ermax, which truncates error macros, appears in the diagnostics menu of the arcade copy of the game. As you'd imagine, the World of Warcraft has had its fair share of myths created throughout the years. Most of these I'll be covering will be from Classic. Not really intentional.
Increase the
just that
volume
back
more.
then, with the game being new and everything, it was much easier to believe all of this stuff.
Feeds
And also
_ master
MMOs.
has purchased 50 belly grub chests.
What? No, bro, let me stream. What? How many? 1 second. What? No, bro, like, come on. Give me a break. 50.
Just being new to everyone in general, I think, you're more likely to believe that there are these super hidden secrets to be discovered, since the genre as a whole is on such a massive scale. Today, it's easy to say that, oh, that's stupid, who would believe that? But, back before everything was gone over 4,000 times with a fine-tooth comb, this stuff was actually believable. But, without any further delay, these are the top 10 myths of World of Warcraft. Starting small and working our way up, number 10 on our list is that the Molten Core was made in 1 week.
Molten Core was made in 1 week. I would not be surprised.
Well, this is partly true. The environment was created in 1 week by the great John Statz. From the World of Warcraft diary, he describes his 1-week escapade in making the iconic cavern. Did you know that there was originally a path from Golemag's room to Magmadar? It was only taken out after Jeff Kaplan deemed that it would make the raid too circular, preferring instead a more linear layout.
Bro, this is a black hole?
Out after Jeff Kaplan deemed that it would make
Bro, this is a scary place. I would never go here. Holy fuck.
the raid
I would
too
never go
circular,
there.
preferring instead a more linear layout. So the environment was created in 1 week, which eventually turned into the raid was created in 1 week. Something I'm guilty of spreading myself, so this is partly me correcting my
Louder video. Bro, it can be more like,
errors.
is this better?
In the following weeks, Jeff Kaplan and creature placement. Scott Mercer designed all of the boss fights. Bob Fitch set up all of the loot. And Pat Nagel and Alex Afrasiabi handled the quests and attunement to the raid. All this doesn't make
Alright, what? Jeff Kaplan. Wait, what is this? I don't care
it
actually.
any less impressive though, and the raid as a whole deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame, taking into account the new ground that it broke, in spite of the tight window in which it was created. For number 9, we have glaive weapon types pre-Legion. As you know, ever since the Legion expansion and the release of the Demon Hunter class, the glaive type weapon is now obtainable in-game, and before that in the Burning Crusade we had the Warglaives of Azeroth, but
You know how stupid he looks with this helmet and these shoulders and warglaives.
even prior to
One with mongoose, one without. As a warrior.
that, many players searched endlessly for these fabled glaive weapons. Why? Well, just look at it. That's some ninja stuff right there. It just doesn't get any cooler than that. I'm gonna name my character some variation of Legolas or Sasuke and dual wield these puppies. Like I said, it started all the way back in the release of the game. There were a handful of NPCs who held these fabled weapons, typically night elves, such as the Darnassus guards or this boss found in Dire Maul, Prince Tortheldrin. I remember that people would farm him over and over in hopes of that ultra rare glaive drop, but it was all for naught. It didn't help that there were indeed glaive weapons in the game files though. Although they were still of the sword type, the Warglaives of Azeroth were datamined, and these had insane stats at the time, and you could even combine them together to form the Twin Blades of Azeroth. On equip, you're consumed by the fury of Illidan, and you gain 1400 attack power against demons, and 20% more hit chance, and 30% more haste. There is also the Glaive of the Defender, a legendary quality item, more designed for tanking, and having a proc that reduces damage by...
Since I pay half of your rent this month, at least answer my Discord DM. There are no DMs, bro. There are no DMs. Not sure what you're talking about.
75% for 10 seconds. As you'd imagine, these items became the objective of a massive scavenger hunt. Players turned over every rock, and even explored the dormant dark portal.
I DM'd you yesterday. What's your name? What's your name? ETS. Okay, let me see. Oh, my back. Oh, I moved way too quick. Oh. All right. Well, the thing is,
these nuts. Got him! Got him!
Okay, answering your question, it was a classic one. In TBC, I stopped doing that. So I don't have those anymore. It was only a classic one, and for Season of Mastery, it doesn't really work, it's outdated.
Found in the Blasted Lands in search of Illidan. You name it, people have
And you actually reminded me that I need to delete those channels in my Discord, and I did.
tried it, but it was never meant to be, as these items were indeed only found in the game files. And at number 8, we have rank 15 in Classic World of Warcraft. Every myth stems from a bit of truth.
Bro, rank 15 would be so nice with the all portals, like, you know, in every city.
Which is the case with this entry. As you may know, Classic World of Warcraft had the old rank 14 system. You started at rank 1, and depending on how many honor points you farmed, every week you would rank up and gain access to powerful items, consumables, and even access to a special building and even the local defense channel. At ranks 12 through 13, you'd get your purple armor set, and at 14 the weapons, along with some nifty titles, High Warlord for the Horde and Grand Marshal for the Alliance. However, there's believed to be one more rank, even higher, called City Protector. Some believed that if you grinded enough at rank 14, you'd eventually reach this, which ended up being false. But like I said, most myths have a bit of truth to them. This rank was indeed planned to be in the game, and was even briefly in Blizzard's PvP guide on the official website. To obtain this, you'd have to be the #1 player in honor farmed for the previous week, and of course maintain that for as long as you wanted to keep the rank. If you were successful, you would earn the prestigious titles listed.
Yo, this would be so cool. If this would be true, on my rogue during ranking, I would be City Defender for like 10 weeks. Not 10 weeks, maybe like 7 weeks.
Here, and would even gain the ability to teleport to your race's major city. So Darnassus for Night Elf players, Undercity for Undead, and so on. I guess that they figured that the system was a bit too hardcore already though, so they limited it to rank 14 instead, and the City Protector rank was lost to the ether. It was pretty troublesome though, because people still believe.
You mean Aniotos and his brother that I outfarmed alone last 6 weeks and they agreed to stack because they were too shit to outfarm me? As 2 men. Yep.
It existed, and with the way that the honor system worked back then, to rank up, you'd have to get more honor than other players of your faction, so you'd have these rank 14s still grinding honor like...
It was really... It was really awkward that Aniotos, like half of the day he would understand English, half of the day he couldn't speak English at all.
Crazy.
It was really awkward.
Non-existent rank 15, which made it harder for other players to rank up, and there's a lot of drama going around because it was such a hardcore grind, requiring players to play around the clock pretty much. It was quite common to account share even.
Aniotos is half
That's
of
getting
me.
off topic. So rank 15 at number 8. At number 7, we have artifact items in vanilla. Similar to the glaive section, these finally saw a release in Legion, but until then, there were hints of these items in the game. In their original items page on their official website, it was listed with the other tiers of loot, and that's poor, common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, and artifact. As you can see, the color was undecided, and then later changed to red, and eventually this peach color. And with all of the data mined items, just like those glaives, people would search all of Azeroth for clues on how to obtain them. It didn't matter that in July of 2005, Blizzard updated their page to say they're not yet implemented. That didn't stop players from scouring every corner of the world, even in ghost form. Other artifact quality items would be Alex's Ring of Audacity.
This is Alexential ring, by the way. In fact, Alexential was working in Blizzard and he made this ring because he wanted a world to be protected from StaySafe, who was terrorizing people in Discord.
Which increases your defense by 1,000, and you can consider yourself born again hardcore. Probably a reference to Alex Afrasiabi, who was a quest designer for the game back then. You also had Martin Thunder, which was a one-handed mace with some resistances, and an on-use effect that kills all enemies within 30 yards of you. And also its cousin, Martin Fury, which miraculously did manage to find its way into a player's inventory. I've told this story before, so I won't be super detailed here, but to sum it up, on accident, a GM sent this to a player named Karate Chop on the Vecnalash server, who then used it to clear through all of the Wrath of the Lich King raids during the Eldwar tier. He was quickly caught, the item was removed, and he was immediately banned from the game.
Why was he banned?
As for the
That's
rest
unfair.
of his guild, even those not in the raid, those who were online were suspended temporarily in a frantic effort of damage control. Yeah, screw that dude questing in Elwyn. Damn cheater. So maybe not technically a myth, since it was obtained through an extraordinary series of events, but still a pretty big myth in the game overall. And
Fun
at number
detective.
6, we have Karazhan is enterable. This is a pretty big claim, but the myth itself never got too much credence, so I can't justify putting it too high on the list. Of course, this would be another vanilla myth, as Karazhan was released in the Burning Crusade expansion, but it was believed by many to be enterable, or at least interacted with in some way. I mean, it even has an instance portal, and taking a look at the nearby Karazhan crypts, there has to be more than meets the eye with this place. Referencing the Computer Games article from March of 2005,
Why did he stop here?
Referencing the Computer Games article from March of 2005, issue 172, it even gives a preview of Karazhan as an upcoming raid, so naturally, players thought that it would be a thing in Classic, or that you could somehow zone into it. Those who managed to glitch through the gate, however, found that the portal was just for show, and as for the article, there were plans for Karazhan to be released in Classic, but due to one reason or another, it was pushed back to the Burning Crusade. And coming in at number 5, we have an oldie, but a goodie.
Imagine if... Never mind.
Back then, there were many theories on how loot drops were determined in the game. Why did this boss drop this loot? The idea is that it has to be seeded from different variables, and there are many theories on just how it was influenced. One of them being that the raid leader, or even the first person to zone into a raid, had an influence on the loot tables. Like, we had good luck with drops with player X as the raid leader, and bad luck with Y, so we should always have X as the leader, or he should zone in first to the raid, so we get the good drops, and guilds were quite strict with it. My guild in particular would remake the entire raid if someone was foolish enough to zone in before the designated person, which
You know we did that in Apes too. You know, Midas had a character called... What was the raid inviter in Apes? It was Federer. But then 1 week, we swapped to the other one. What was the name of the other one? Federer, and the name of the other one is... It's a tennis player too. Fuck, I don't remember. Federer and... Who was the second one? Yeah, Djokovic, or whatever his name is. I don't know how to pronounce. Yeah, and we went with another raid leader, and the loot was absolutely fucking garbage, bro. So we went back to fucking Federer.
which was a pain since the raid
We
was
actually
40
did that
man,
for a week.
and you had to have everyone zone out, hope that no one was AFK, and manually re-invite the right people again, and then rebuff. It took forever, but I guess it was something that they felt strongly enough to waste 20 minutes of valuable raiding time. It was, of course, never revealed just what influences the loot in the game and what doesn't, and it's something that's died ever since the advent of personal loot, thankfully. And next, we have the Bengal Tiger. Up until the Cataclysm expansion, there was rumored to be a hidden tiger mount in the game. It exists in the game files, and hey, look, there are even screenshots of it this time. Players once more scoured the earth in search of this mount, this time focusing their efforts in the Stranglethorn Vale zone, which holds a selection of Bengal tigers, thus having a supposed connection. Eventually, through some tricky out-of-bounds jumping, a lone cave was found in these mountains. This was never designed for players to be able to reach, but there's quite a lot of detail put into it. You have this nicely lit path with a bunch of torches and crates scattered about, and this cave which holds these tarps. Why, these tarps must be made of Bengal tiger hide, players said, and thus the Bengal Tiger Cave was born. It was rumored that under certain conditions, a vendor will spawn in the cave and sell you the fabled mount. It only spawns at certain times, maybe once a year. Oh, maybe you need to have this cape equipped to see the NPC, or maybe you need to be a hunter and have a tiger tamed as a pet. Maybe, just maybe, it was a mount that was planned, but was just eventually scrapped, and the screenshots going around were from the beta of the game and never made it to release. The latter scenario was indeed the case, and no matter what players did...
By the way, guys, special announcement. Only people who are here will be able to listen. Black Temple is releasing in 3 weeks. Wrath PTR is releasing in April, and Wrath is coming out in August. Sunville is June 1st. Thank you for listening.
The Bengal Tiger Cave yielded no Bengal Tiger. Getting into the final three here though, next up we have the Emerald Dream. This does of course exist in the lore. As described by the Wowpedia, it's a vast, ever-changing spirit world that exists outside the boundaries of the physical world, and it represents how Azeroth would be if intelligent beings had not altered its surface. Basically a utopia of sorts. It was referenced in various ways, even in Classic. You talk with Malfurion Stormrage's spirit.
Are you the guy that said PTR would be live yesterday? No, I never did. I said it might be up.
From the dream during the Scepter of the Shifting Sands questline, but it was always believed that it actually existed within the game somewhere and that she could somehow access it. Well, it turns out that it does exist, but like with many others in the list, it's only in the game files. It was being worked on throughout the alpha version of the game, and it was believed to be a high-level zone for players to adventure in, and the Druid class in particular would have a close link to it. In 2003, Jeff Kaplan, the lead game designer, said that it was in the works and that it was shaping up to be extremely cool. The zone was meant to be endgame, it was very large, and was going to be exceedingly challenging. This was all said before release in 2003, so when the game launched, players eventually asked the question, well, where is it? In classic fashion, Blizzard maintained radio silence, which prompted many rumors and even hoaxes on how to enter the Emerald Dream. False directions being posted. Oh yeah, just keep going through Fatigue Water. It's somewhere over there, just keep going. Videos of people exploring the zone were posted, some of which providing no context. One of the most popular exploration videos back then was by Dopefish, who showed himself exploring various places, the Emerald Dream included. It was disclosed that it was all done on a private server, I believe, but it didn't stop people from trying to figure out ways to reach it. In this scene, you can see that he heroically slays a green drake and walks to the portal, and with some simple video editing, he's in. These green portals behind all of the Dragons of Nightmare World bosses were always believed to be linked somehow, which may have been the intent at some point.
Bro,
but alas,
what an owner!
yielded no results.
What a fucking owner! Imagine, this is so good.
On the real servers.
What a legend!
It was only on September 2006, after the announcement of the Burning Crusade expansion, that Blizzard broke their silence on the matter and confirmed that it's not in the game, and also that there are no plans for it as of yet. Between then and now, players have flirted with the Emerald Dream through various quests, and even visiting the corrupted Emerald Nightmare raid in the Legion expansion, but to this day, we've yet to see a full representation of the Fabled Zone. And in similar fashion, another one from Classic here is that you could enter the Outland. Lore-wise, this is the Orc homeworld of Draenor, now corrupted by the Burning Legion, and it served as the stage for Khadgar's campaign in Warcraft 2. This myth, of course, ended with the Burning Crusade expansion because we entered the official Outland, but it was believed that you could somehow enter the Twisted Realm far before that. I mean, the Dark Portal was in the game, so it was inevitable that players searched for ways to enter it, or at least come up with outlandish theories or rumors to find the hidden zone. As I said, most myths are based off of some truth, and it's the case again with this one. There were plans for players to enter the Outland in vanilla World of Warcraft. I mean, why have the Dark Portal on the login screen, right? But due to one reason or another, it was scrapped and saved for later. Either they ran out of time, or they just didn't expect just how successful the game was going to be. And once they said that, maybe they said, let's just save it for another expansion.
7 duo Vigentillion 777 un Vigentillion 777.
Just like the Emerald Dream, there existed a version of the Outland in the game files, of course not actually accessible by the players. This would later become the Hellfire Peninsula, and as you can see, this would be Honorhold, where Khadgar and company took residence, and the zone as a whole has a lot of similarities to the final version that we received. It had a huge amount of work put into it, considering that it never saw the light of day. This would also be featured in Dopefish's exploration video, and players oohed and ahed at the unseen lands. There must be a way in there. Maybe if I try to go through the portal on a level 47 naked gnome with nothing but a banana in my inventory. There was also another version hidden away in the Dead Mines instance, which still exists to this day actually. If you glitch through the wall with Slowfall, you can reach another work in progress of what's referred to as the Old Outland. And another red herring was located in the Ashara zone. In the depths you could find a dark portal. Wait,
Yo, what the fuck is
don't
this?
we already have that in the Blasted Lands? Well, how do you explain this screenshot then?
Wait, what the fuck is this? Is this fake?
What you're looking at is an underwater dark portal found in the waters of Ashara. It was removed in the alpha version of World of Warcraft, but that didn't stop players from exploring the waters and searching for some remnants of the portal. The answer was simple though. Back in the alpha of the game,
Yo, this would be so sick in Scholomance. Look at this.
had the dark portal as a placeholder for the entrance, and at some point it seems like there were some plans for an underwater dungeon of sorts located in the zone, but for some reason, probably time, it ended up being scrapped. The screenshot remained though, and the zone would become one of many focal points of players' search of the Outland. But as much as we look back and laugh at the crazy things that players did to enter these zones, this one was understandable because it was actually referenced and hinted at in-game through the Corrupted Ashbringer event, which leads me to number 1 on our list, and that's the thought that you could obtain the legendary Purified Ashbringer in classic World of Warcraft. Come on, how could this not be number 1? The Ashbringer was the weapon
Just because you're playing Red Paladin doesn't mean that it should be number 1. No one cares.
of the former High Lord of the Silver Hand, Alex.
ETR up? What if it's not up? Am I banning you if it's not up?
Alexandros Mograine, and when he fell at the hands of his son, he, along with his weapon, became corrupted and were made to serve Kel'Thuzad in death. He was one of the 4 horsemen, which was a boss fight in the next Ramus 40
Yo, look, this is almost Asmon Gold.
man raid in vanilla, and on the drop table, players could loot the corrupted Ashbringer to wield for themselves. The sword came with a variety of special effects, including creepy whispers from the lost soul of Mograine himself. If you had it equipped, the Argent Dawn faction would become hostile to you, so you had to put it away when
Bro, I remember we had a raid in Apes. I don't remember who, I think Tribe or Calamera. They had Ashbringer equipped because it's like a PvP weapon. They Hearthstone to Lightshab and they insta-die. That was so funny.
whenever you entered their hub. And on the flip side, if you entered the Cathedral Wing of the Scarlet Monastery dungeon, you trigger a special event where the spirit of Alexandros takes revenge on his son. Going into a hidden chamber on the side and talking to the undead Inquisitor Fairbanks, he provides some information on the cursed sword, and he ultimately tells players to find his other son, a more devout and pious man you may never meet. It is rumored that he is able to build the Ashbringer anew without requiring the old tainted blade, and that he resides in the Outland. This set off the biggest scavenger hunt in the game's history. Like I said, players tried every way possible to zone through the dormant portal in the Blasted Lands, the location of the removed portal in Ashara. There is a joke book that dropped from the Altrek Valley battleground called Matt Pagel's Guide to Extreme Angling, with all but the last page missing. It reads, and so that's where you'll find the legendary sword of the Scarlet High Lord, Ashbringer. Ain't it amazing what you run into in an ordinary day of fishing? Which prompted players to then fish for it in the waters outside the Stratholme dungeon, where Alexandros met his end. There were NPCs who referenced it, and even a data-mined legendary version of the blade itself, so it was no wonder that players were scouring every corner of the world. After thousands and thousands of posts, it was confirmed to not exist in the game in early 2006, where the community manager, Ionix, stated that they'll only add it after casters receive their legendary. So once Nexramas came out and they got Adtiesh, and now with that corrupted Ashbringer, players thought that it was in-game and it was just super hidden. Of course, when the Burning Crusade launched, everyone scrambled to find the last son of Alexandros Mograine, but even still, after going over every zone with a fine-tooth comb, he was nowhere to be
Guys, TBC, Bokti. TBC, Bokti. TBC, Bokti, bro.
found, and it was only in the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, when Tyrion Fordring got the Ashbringer in lore, did most players give up on their quest. Ultimately, as you know, we did eventually see the Ashbringer released as an artifact weapon in the Legion expansion. A bit anticlimactic, however, as every single paladin got it. Hey, wasn't this supposed to be a fabled, ultra-powerful mythical weapon? Well maybe there's a sale going on or something. But still, during the time, it goes down as one of the biggest myths in the game's history, with Blizzard themselves even referencing it. You can unlock the alternate corrupted appearance of the blade, and the whole process referenced all of the ridiculous things that players did in their hunt for the Ashbringer. Farming the Altrek Valley for the book, killing these slimes in the Eastern Plaguelands, talking to random NPCs, and yes, even fishing in the waters outside of Stratholme, so I guess everything came full circle after all. But that's about it. This concludes the top 10 myths of World of Warcraft. Some understandable, and some downright ridiculous. Whatever the case was, I hope that you found the video entertaining. Like it if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, bye.
Farewell.